Greetings! My name is Dwayne, and these are my new flower gnomes. And I want to show you the pattern, show you how I've made this new hat here. It's a beautiful hat. Gives me a variety of different things I can do to accessorize it and to play with the different colors. So I wanted to get into how to make that, and I'm going to get into more of the hat than the body, but we're going to start out and showing you the body, showing you the pattern. We'll make the gnomes here. Now, my pattern I've cut out. I use my basic felt body that I used with the gnome angel ornament patterns. This is the felt body with that. So I've cut out the pattern. I sew down the side just like I normally would on that, and then I sew on my base. I'm trying to go through the body here a little quickly because I want to concentrate on the hat. The body, as I said, I use the same body. It's the same felt body that I did with the gnome ornament, the angel ornament. And it's my normal regular body too, except for the size is the same. The pattern is the exact same too as the angel ornament. So the trick is, if you have the body there on that pattern, I'm using that with the 3 3/4 height body. And then sewing my base along the bottom like I normally would. And again, I want to concentrate on the hat and a little bit on the body here because I want to show you a couple tricks with the body too. So once I've sewed around there, I'm going to turn my body inside out. Get my body here together. Now, I'm using some sort of gravel or some weight on the bottom there, whatever you're used to using. So I normally put into a baggie. Now, these are lunch bags. These are even the small ones. They're a little bit too big to fit in there. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting a bag down in quarters, basically. And this is just a little tip, not something you have to do, but I like to line the inside. I like to, if I'm putting gravel in there, if I'm putting in some sort of dirt, I want to line the bottom of my gnome. So just a little tip there if you want to do that. Then I grab, this is aquarium gravel that I use, and I just fill it in there carefully, not to spill too much. We're going to fill. What I want to do is sort of put my thumb down here so I can feel where I'm going with it. I want to have an inch on the bottom there. Gives it just a nice weight to it there. Let's see if we can clean off my surface here real quick. But I have an inch down in there for my weight there, and then I fill it with polyfill. As I said, trying not to spend too much time on my body, but I wanted to show that that's how I stuff mine. I want to have some weight to it. The ones that I put onto the wood blocks there, the first one I didn't put any weight in there, so that's fine because I'm actually putting it onto the wood block. But the other ones, I wanted to be able to stand up by themselves. So that's why I put the weight down in there. Now, the trick here, typically what I do is I just sew across the top here. We don't want to do that with these ones. With this one, what we're doing is turning it back to the front here, pushing this down. So I got this V shape in the front, and I even write that on the pattern, a V shape here in the front, the top going up here, and then I sew just along that V shape. I sew that shut. Of course, you can glue shut, but if you like, I just do this quick, simple V-shaped sewing in there, and there I have my body. And the reason for that is this is how we're going to attach the hat. So this is the important part here, is attaching the hat. Now I've cut out my patterns here, and I'm going to need actually 3 of the color pieces, and then 2 green. Now if you want, you can use different colors too, as far as the top on there. I experimented, tried a couple different things. Let me see if I can grab another one of my guys sitting here. And I used a darker pattern down here and then went with a lighter up here. I'm thinking of experimenting with the arms, doing light with the arms, dark with the body, however you want to do that, just for fun, just to get some more color into it. But other than that, you can do it with just the two colors, if that's what you want to do. I did it with the felt. I also did the one I just showed you with the blue there. This actually is a wool that I have up top here. So I'm using wool for my color up here, and I'm using felt for my base there. I've also used fleece. The fleece worked out real well. That first one I showed there, this is using a fleece up top there. The body, I'm sticking with the felt. Basically, it gives me a firmer body here. So just a little tip there. The hat, I've cut out, as I said, 3 pieces of the color, 2 of the... Here's the trick. The hat is actually my hat from my ornaments, from my gnome ornaments that I did. Let me see if I can find the pattern here when I got it cut out here. There we go. Wanted to show you that because I did the exact same hat that I did with the gnome ornaments. So the pattern itself is the exact same pattern. And if you have my patterns, the base, the body, and the arms are from the Woodland Angels. The hat is from the keychain ornament that I did. So we're using the exact same patterns with that. So if you have that, you actually have the pattern if you have those two. Just wanted to bring that up just because, I want people to know that, you can get started on this right away if you have those patterns already, or I will have the pattern available, which will have all of it together. The only difference was the beard I made a little bit longer just to cover a little bit more down here. So not much difference even from the angel ornament there. But I'm going to show you now. We made the hat. This is the hat there from the keychain, cut out. You look and see the similarity there. What we're going to do is we're going to put one side on the top there, on each side there. So we're going to go right into that V there, right where it comes together, put our point there. And what I want to do is I want to line it up. So my seam is going up here and my point are going up. I want to get them as pretty much as much straight going up there. And then I'm going to glue this right down into the V there on the tip there. This is the trick. Once you start getting this together, the first one or two you do, it's easy, simple after that. As I said, I got to show you a couple little tricks here. The main thing, though, I wanted to show you the body is the same, and that's what I like to do with my patterns, is start out with something simple. Start out with the basics, and that's all I did with this, was go with my basics and go with a couple of patterns and put the patterns together in different ways. So now I'm going to glue the back on, and that was another reason why I sewed it too. So I did have the seam showing a little bit so I could see where to put it. I'll glue that on the back. Now, my opening in here, it doesn't matter which way it's facing, if it's facing to the right or facing to the left, however you want to do that. I've done it both ways, just to experiment to make sure it's okay. It works out either way. If you have your opening going this way or opening going that way when you build your gnome. Again, a little different variety. The reason I mentioned the opening is because when you grab your next piece and every piece after that, you want your opening to be facing up, not the folded side. You want the opening up there. Again, just a little key point there. And what we're going to do is just bring that right along the side there, attach it. And the same thing down here. We're looking at right where they come together, the points. And we're going to put that on there. Now here again, you can adjust it up a little bit or adjust it down a little bit. I got a couple of them there where I've put them up a little bit higher, so more of a tool-up close there than an opening there. And again, I'm looking for just a nice little seam going across the middle here. And I'm just holding it on with my finger on the back here, sort of pinching it together there as I open this up. And I run the glue just along the first petal there. I don't want glue oozing out all over. Attach it. Again, I'm bringing the points together here. And this is when people start doing this, is that, oh, okay, I got it now. Glue along the side there. Attach that there, a little fuzzy off of there. And then we do the same thing for the other side. Fold my hat and just bring it in, lining it up. It's just going to overlap just a little bit onto there. I still got my V shape into there. Got it held on the back there. Run my glue. And again, I'm just putting a little bit of glue and I'm running it up to where the top comes together here. We're going to fold it over. And as I'm putting it on there, I like to make sure I line up the top here. I like to make sure that comes together on both sides. Nice and even there. And keeping an eye out too that they come straight across from each other or somewhere in there. It's up to you. As I said, if you want to build it so it's coming up a little bit higher, you can do that. But I'm trying to make just a nice little seam there. Run my glue just lightly up there. Look at that. We're already having the flower look coming together here for us. Now, here's again another key point before we put on the next part. This is where I put on the beard. My beard I've cut out, and it's basically just 1 inch across the top there and 1 inch down here. So I have a length there. And try different, types of beards. I'm going to try one actually, the purple one I showed earlier. I'm going to try a purple beard on one of them, see how that looks here too. But my beard, I'm going to put right across where those points come together. I'm covering that, my stitching there with my beard basically. Let me get my glue gun back out. And first one I did, again, I'm trying different things out, tried different beards, different ways. So it's a little bit different style to it. I didn't like as much, but came out with putting the beard right below there. And now I got my beard on there. Before I put the rest of the hat on, I want to put my arms on next. Just like any of my other gnomes, putting the beard on and then putting my arms right to the side here. The arms, as I said, I use the same color for this one here. I've cut out the pattern. I fold it over. Then I sew down the side. Like I said, I'm trying to concentrate more on the hat. We've done the bodies before. We've done the arms before. If you can look at any of my other videos, it'll show how I just sew down the arms, turn them inside out, and then I put stuffing in there. Stuff that, and then add, it's a 3/4 inch wood ball. I just glue inside there. So once I've gotten that, turn it inside out, I just glue inside and add my wood ball. You can watch any of the Woodland Wizards or the Woodland Angel if you need to have a little bit of update again how to build the arm, but I try to keep that simple, building my arms the same way basically every time. And we're gonna just put a little dab of glue on there. I don't want, as I say all the time, I tell myself I don't want glue oozing out. I don't want glue oozing out. And we're gonna put that right on the side, the seam going in from the arm. That's gonna attach just underneath my top petals there. So I want that to come right up next to the beard, underneath the petal. Put that right into the side there. Grab my other arm. As I said, the seam goes inside. And we'll put him right up to the petal there. Get some of the glue stringies off of here. And we'll just hold them for a moment there till they get glued on there nice and well. Okay. Now here's where I add the rest of my hat. He's coming together real nice here. Those arms to stay on it. There we go. Again, I'm taking the same piece that I've had, the same hat piece, and I'm making sure my opening's up, and I'm bringing it right in here, right where I had my point on there, point in back. And we're gonna have it curve. So it's covering the top, just the top of the arm there. Just, it doesn't have to touch it or just barely touch the arm. If you want to bring it down so it's right on the arm, you could do that. You can bring it up a little bit. I like it coming down and being where it sort of looks like it's cradling the arm there. I like that look there to it. So then again, I'm just gluing along the top one. Folding it in, giving myself a little bit of room there. And then just gluing it on the back, the same thing. I'm coming to the point. You'll see there, you'll see I still have a couple stitches there, but this will cover up my stitching. And as you've heard me probably on other videos too, I like to cover up my seams. I like to cover up my stitching as much as possible and just make it look like a well done, well organized. That's one of the things I've really liked about this is how it came together. As I said, I'm putting things together for a reason, the way I have them. Here, I'm covering the top of the beard. I want that top of the beard just barely covered. Some of the other beards that I have, you'll see sort of a little bit of a backing piece to it when you cut across the top. This way I'm covering that up. I'm covering up where the arms come together. There, that point there. So we're covering that up to underneath, just underneath the hat there. Bring that together. I said I really wanted to concentrate on the hat to show you the basics of that. How do I make my hat there? And for my final part, I'm just bringing it along together there. You're going to see how nicely that looks there. And just gluing over the top petal right there. I don't want a lot of glue. And when you're putting it on, again, you want to fan it out a little bit and also make sure we're lining up on that. A little bit of glue there. Come off of there. Pull that off of there. All right. Then I use my 3/4 inch balls. Same one that I used for the hands. So we're, with this one, you're just using 3 of the 3/4 inch balls. We got the seam coming together here. That's exactly where we're just going to cover this up here. Take that, check out my ball, make sure I don't have any knobby things on it. I'm just putting a little dot of glue. I don't want too much. Again, I don't want too much to seep out there. And I'm putting it right there, right where those points come together. Getting that right in the center there. And we're winding down here. We got our gnome. This guy is looking beautiful. Love the creation. As I said, a number of times as I was making these, I was so excited how they came out with the possibilities. The idea of the flower garden, the idea that I can do different things woodsy with them. Show you what I talked about as far as the hat, putting it up a little higher, turning the petals up so it's more of a closed. You can do that. Here I used more of a wool for the top part, and again, a different color for the arms, and then just put into my own creativity. And that's what I want to do, is show you the basics here. Give you the body, give you the hat. There's no tricks to it or anything as far as the pattern's the same there. I do have the pattern available, of course, on my Etsy too. But it's become a beautiful flower gnome, and I've done a number of flower gnomes over the years, but I like something that gives me a variety that I can put other things into it. Start out with the basics and build from there. And that's all I want to do, is make sure you have something that's beautiful, something that you can make easy and fun. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.